And welcome again, everyone, to another edition of the BIS podcast, broadcasting live on the Marvin Network. Josh Green, your host here, and today we have a special treat for you here on the podcast as we have the lovely Vanessa Lewis joining us all the way from Georgia. Vanessa, thank you for being on this edition of the podcast. And is Georgia on your mind?
Yes, it's always on my mind.
It's always on your mind. Hey,
Um,
if I was to meet somebody from Georgia, I always wanted to ask them that. Is that a little bit cliche?
a little bit, but
Uh,
I don't ever get tired of it. I'm okay with it.
There you go. Well, hey, your team won the national championship, so you gotta be feeling somewhat high going in, to the next football season, stuff like that. Am I right?
Yes, that's two in a row actually. So it's go dogs.
Oh, go Dogs. Okay, okay. I mean, I gotta, I'll say go Dogs as long as it's beating Bama, right?
That's right.
There you go. All right. Well, again, Vanessa, thank you for joining us today here on the podcast. Now, our topic on today's podcast, we're going to be discussing tax payment benefits and also a little bit of web hosting. So, first off, Vanessa, I'd like to ask you though, since this is the first time we've had you here on the podcast, kind of tell us a little bit about your adventure coming to BIS and what you do for us here.
Okay. Well, before I came to work at BIS, I actually used y'all as my vendor for tax for my website. In Wilkinson County, Georgia, I was the tax commissioner for 16 years there, and so I had all that experience with local government. And then Brandon and Britt came to offer me a job, and I decided to take it. So,
Oh,
and what I do is I am the client success manager for the Southeast. So I'm in charge of, getting us, because we're new in other states, getting business for us and letting everybody know who we are, how great our customer service is, and our products.
I gotcha. All right. Well, I got to ask you this question before we kind of continue on. I always ask this of everyone that I've kind of talked to, kind of how they got their start here at BIS. Now, are you sure it wasn't because Brandon and Britt had something on you? Now, you could tell me this is a safe space.
No, it's probably because I had something on them. They wanted to make sure they kept me close.
Right on. I like you. I like your style. Well, Vanessa, again, we talked to you about, well, we're talking about here today on the podcast. We're talking about tax payment benefits and web hosting a little bit later. We'll get into now. We'll discuss tax payment benefits now. For the normal Joe like me, tax payment benefits. I guess to me that's just pay your taxes, I guess. But talking about it a little bit. Kind of tell us what are tax payment benefits or benefits for it.
Okay. So for tax payment benefits, it's more of the tax payment and search option that we have built out for our clients. And so once we hopefully host your site as well for web hosting, when you get ready to go and search your property, that will take you into our tax payment and search. And you can put in your name, you can put in a number of different map and parcels or legal description, address, and it will help you search for your properties to come up to make a payment on those. In case that they were going to do anything as far as wanting to file an appeal or anything like that, they can always go on their property and bill and look at it online as well with that option.
I gotcha. I gotcha. All right. Well, and I know your expertise. Again, you're in the southeast in Georgia, of course, and tell us a little bit about again your experience up there in working with this and now trying to provide that. Again, we're based here in Texas, but as we expanded out into Georgia and the southeast, kind of tell us a little bit about what you've been working out there to kind of help people with this topic.
Yeah. So we're still working to get the last bit done so we can push out tax payments in Georgia. We should have that done for Q4. But when I first came in, I did a lot of gap analysis just to find out like what we currently have on our system and what we need to have or can have to make us better, so that they get all the functionality and more that current websites have, and that we can add to those to make us the best option.
All right. Well, are there really any, again, I know every state has their differences when it comes to, the tax payment system and stuff like that. Kind of tell us a little bit about what you've experienced in Georgia and trying to implement this new system.
Yes, I can tell you. I can't really tell you too much about Texas because I'm not sure exactly how that's set up. I know it is a little different. I'm still learning on that. But for Georgia, we have tax commissioners here. And I know that y'all mainly work with your tax assessors and some of your tax offices. But the main ones that we are focusing on right now are the tax commissioner and collector's office so that we can do their website and do their tax search option and then do their credit card processing with one of our partners. Um, and I also work in Alabama and South Carolina, and I can tell you that they're also very differently set up. They have revenue commissioners, license commissioners, judges that do tags. So it's just very interesting for me to go to the different states in the Southeast and figure out how everybody does their collections and what they need and how we can sell our products to them to help them the most. Or if we need to build a new product to help them the most, like that's what we're willing to do to, build our business out of the state of Texas.
Well, when you talk about, again, as you talked about, different states having, different systems and the way they do things, how have you kind of been able to kind of navigate that a little bit in being able to bring up this new system to our clients out there and hopefully here, into Texas as well? How do you kind of branch that out a little bit and how's that made you able to kind of be able to help clients in different ways, even though they are in different states with different systems?
Really, it's about making relationships with the people that you become friends with. That's one thing that I really love about the position that I have. Obviously, I was friends with a lot of the tax commissioners already in Georgia, but I'm able to also make friends and relationships out with the ones in Alabama and just learn about how their systems work and how we can help them and then see what they need and as far as South Carolina as well. So I think really relationships really hits home for us. That's one thing that us at BIS, we really kind of focus on community, and that's definitely what we build whenever I go out to the conferences and get to see everyone.
Awesome, awesome indeed. And Vanessa is one of our top tier people at our conferences usually. So if you ever had a chance to go up and meet her, I would because she is a very, very nice lady. Well, Vanessa, we talk about the different system and tax payment benefits. Talk a little bit about. You mentioned a little bit about it at the beginning. Web hosting.
Yes. So web hosting is what we also offer. It's kind of a bundle for in Georgia for sure. So we'll do your web hosting and we'll be able to give you a lot of functionality for that. It's a lot more modern and easy to navigate website. People really have loved it so far. We've sold a few in Alabama and a few in Georgia already, additional to what we already had. And so everybody seems really happy about it. And we have a lot of guardrails to make it to where they can also edit them themselves if they want to, but they can't ever get to the point, where they really kind of get in there and like wreck it, which is always great because people want to be able to work on their websites without having to worry about whether they do something that's going to make it go away.
No, I got you indeed. Well, what's something, Vanessa, as you've been here at BIS and helped with web hosting, what's something that we can really, for all our clients that are listening out there, even for maybe some new ones or even new people that are joining on listening today, what are some, the benefits of using us for your web hosting?
That we have, I kind of touched on a little bit before, is allowing those guardrails to be up so that they can edit their own website as well as we can edit it for them. So if they don't have time to do those things, they don't want to the hassle, they can just send us an email to our products team and we can update anything they want on there really quickly. Obviously, you can contact us, and there's a person who answers the phone. I'm available to them, especially in Georgia. A lot of people just have my cell phone number already. And so they can just call me and have a request. I've had a couple of them do that this week, actually. And so the time, to get that everything done, time management is really helpful.
I got you, Vanessa. Well, before we kind of wrap things up here, appreciate you joining us here on the podcast today. What are some things you'd like for our clients to know out there, again, especially in the southeast or when you're where you're located? Tell us what can you really or what do you want our clients and future clients to expect from us here at BIS?
I want them to just be ready for us. We are ready to help them and serve them in any way that we can, and really kind of break up how things are done in Georgia and change it for the better.
Awesome indeed, Vanessa. Well, before I truly let you go, let me ask you this: Does Kirby get
Okay.
the three-peat this year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Uh,
100%.
Oh, you're sure about?
Just
Okay,
gonna keep the streak going.
keep the streak going. All right. Well, let's see if it can happen. And hey, if they're beating Bama, I can agree with that.
There we go.
There you go. Well, again, we've been talking with Vanessa Lewis here today on the BIS podcast, broadcasting live on the Marvin Network. Once again, I appreciate you joining us here, Vanessa. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no problem at all. Again, you've been listening to the BIS podcast. We'll see you another time, but until then, so long and goodbye.